look at what exactly this new data now suggests. 656.5 crore rupees was donated to the DMK since 2019 in the form of electoral bonds. Future Gaming Group donated to the DMK since 2021. 249 crore to the DMK between 2020 and 2021 in that 1 year. That's the data that has now come out. 160 crore rupees to the DMK between 2022 and 23. Over 35% of Future Gaming's total donations have been made to the DMK. This group has made donations to other parties as well. 77% donations to the DMK have come from electoral bonds is what we're given to understand. This is as far as data that the DMK themselves has provided as far as furnishing the details of who donated to them when. 105 crore rupees to the DMK via mega infrastructure since 2019 is also what has now come to the fore. The infra group donated 20 crore rupees to the DMK in 2019 and 2020 and 40 crore the year after that in 2021. Mega Infra donated 25 crore rupees to DMK in 2022 as well. Those are the details that are now coming out. Aman, my colleague, joining us, getting us more perspective on this. Aman, that hearing over the electoral bonds is still underway in the Supreme Court. We're given to understand the Supreme Court really wants the details to be put out by the Election Commission or by the political parties themselves of where exactly these donations have come from.
Yes, Poonam, see, the contentious issue now is that will the SBI actually reveal bond numbers which can link each party's donation to a donor? That is the contentious area now, and some parties now like the DMK have actually come out and put out their data, which is also revealing a lot, because this particular company, Future Gaming and Hotel Services, which is the biggest donor in the electoral bond matter at about 1368 crore rupees, it's the biggest donor. Now it is being revealed through DMK's findings that nearly 40% of that donation has actually gone to the DMK, because so far the allegation was that maybe there were murmurs that has the BJP cornered a maximum of this amount, but now it reveals that 40% of this amount of Future Gaming and Hotel Services, or the Lottery King as some are calling the owner of this company, has donated to the DMK, the ruling party in Tamil Nadu. That's a big proportion, almost 85 to 90% of the DMK's total funds which has come to it through the electoral bond issue. So this is the major thing which is now coming to fore, and other companies like Megha, which is the second biggest donor, has also contributed to these two southern parties in Tamil Nadu. So in a way, the BJP was also, we saw Mr. Amit Shah recently saying that if all the details come out, many of the opposition parties will also have a lot to explain. So that is what I think is happening in the Supreme Court now, that the petitioners are pleading to the court to make the SBI declare all the details, all the bond numbers, because so far we have just two independent lists, one of the list of the donors and one what the parties encashed. There is no cross matching possible. It is not possible exactly to say who donated to whom. But with the DMK's disclosure coming, AIA DMK's disclosure now coming to the fore, it is we are able to establish which company has donated. And the Future Gaming and Hotel Services donating almost over rupees 500 crore to the DMK, which is almost 85% of its total earnings through electoral bonds, is actually revealing a lot and actually deflating in a way the attack on the BJP, that the BJP has cornered maximum of funds from the largest donor. Of course, BJP has got the maximum donation under the electoral donor scheme, about nearly 6,900 crores, but the BJP justifies it by saying that, look, we are the biggest party, we have the maximum number of MPs, we are in par in the maximum number of states, so it is but obvious that we will get more donations through electoral bonds. It's also questioned by other parties like the TMC and the Congress, which have got nearly rupees 1,200 to 13 crore each through electoral bond. They have also accepted this money through the electoral bond route. Then why did they accept that money if it was so immoral on any other party, if they, as they allege, to take this money through electoral bond issue?
Right, so this definitely is going to become a political controversy. The BJP is going to turn this around on its head against the opposition. Do stay on with us, Aman, because it's not just the DMK that has revealed the number of donations and from whom they've come to. The AIA DMK has also put out some information. 6 crore rupees donations to the AIA DMK have been made between April 2nd and April 4th of 2019 is what we're given to understand. Within a span of those 2 days, about 6 crore rupees was given to the AIA DMK. This funding was before the 2019 elections is what the data has now revealed. CSK Cricket Limited was the biggest donor to the AIA DMK in 2019. 5 crores have come from CSK alone on the 3rd of April in 2019. This is what was revealed as far as the electoral bonds data is concerned. Lakshmi Machine Works Limited donated 1 crore back in 2019 as well to the AIADMK. Gopal Srinivasan from Chennai donated 5 lakh rupees in 2019. So all of this was right before the 2019 elections. Even the DMK data that we're looking at, Aman, all of this is before the 2019 elections. All of this is for that particular period.
Is amount, though it is not very big, the corresponding the interesting part in that is that the CSK has contributed the maximum to the AIDMK. The other parties also, Poonam, if I have the data, if you can look at the data, the JDS getting about 89 crore rupees through the electoral bond issue. And if you look at the total data as well now, which is now available after you collate all this information, the BJP getting about 6,900 crores, but the Trinamool Congress getting nearly rupees 1,400 crores through the electoral bond route, the Congress getting about 1,334 crores, the BRS getting about 1,322 crores, the BJD getting about 944 crores and DMK getting about 656 crores. So even the regional parties, which I say were in power in just one state compared to the BJP, which is in power in multiple states, even some regional parties like the Trinamool Congress and the DMK and the BJD have also got a sizable number of funds through the electoral bond issue. And as the BJP sources have been telling us that once this entire data comes out in public and everybody can know who donated to whom, many of the opposition parties will also have a lot to explain. So some party now taking the moral high ground to say why the BJP has taken so much money. It will also be interesting to see what other parties have got from which donor, and especially from Future Gaming and Hotel Services, which it is now in the open that 40% of its donations, the highest donor in the electoral bond issue, have actually gone to the DMK party.
Right, Aman, do stay on with us. We have information coming in now from the Supreme Court as well, which was hearing the case. Several industry bodies had approached the Supreme Court asking for these details to not be disclosed, but that's something that the Supreme Court has not looked into. We're given to understand, in fact, that the Apex Court has asked the SBI chairman to file an affidavit by Thursday 5 p.m. to indicate that all data in its possession has now been disclosed. So about 3.5 more days, 4 days close to what the SBI now gets to tell the court in an affidavit of what all data has been disclosed, how much have they received, what all has been passed on. Ananya, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details on this. Ananya, what can you tell us more about what transpired in court?
Well, definitely, the Supreme Court had been hearing this particular issue after, in fact, it had termed this whole scheme to be unconstitutional. It had asked State Bank of India to submit all the details to the Election Commission of India, though there was some confusion which Mr. Harish Salve raised today that, what kind of a data, and he has constantly been saying that, the SBI is not willfully disobeying any kind of the orders of the Supreme Court. And today, the Supreme Court, in order to clear all the air and, all of the confusions to be up and bound, the Supreme Court has said that, very clearly and categorically, the SBI chairman should file an affidavit by Thursday 5 p.m. that all the data that it has, including the alphanumeric numbers, these were unique codes that were there to provide security in order to protect, the interest of the donors and to protect the privacy of these people. That particular number, including and the serial number of these particular bonds, should also be indicated in all the data that the State Bank of India had in its possession shall be handed over to the Election Commission of India. And after doing so, an affidavit needs to be filed by the SBI chairman, clearly saying that all of the details have been given out by the SBI to the Election Commission of India by Thursday 5 p.m. is the deadline. However, there were heated arguments that took place. In fact, Mr. Adish Agarwala, who's the chairman of the Supreme Court Bar Association, had challenged, very clearly said that there should be a suo motu review of this particular judgment that should happen. But very clearly and categorically, the Supreme Court had a stern view on it, clearly said that it's not making any kind of a comment, since he's also the president of the Supreme Court Bar Association, apart from being a senior advocate. And he, if you remember, Poonam had written to the president, he had written a letter to the president of India seeking a review of this particular judgment, asking the president to actually exercise her powers, extraordinary powers, to overturn this particular judgment. However, this did not find way with the Supreme Court. Very clearly, Supreme Court said that it seems kind of a publicity stunt and it does not want to go into it much more than that. But very, very clearly and categorically, there also there was an exchange of heated arguments between petitioner Prashant Bhushan and the central government government being represented by Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, wherein it was clearly stated by Mr. Mehta that Mr. Bhushan has been making submissions which are not in taste with justice. They are submissions to seek publicity and just to come in the newspapers is such statements are being made. And in fact, this particular judgment in the Supreme Court is being used in a wrong way is what the central government submitted. In fact, he also associated himself with what Mr. Agarwala had written to the President of India, clearing the central government stand in this particular issue. But very, very clearly and categorically, the biggest direction of the topmost of the country is for the